Hello and welcome back. We are looking into the final full moon of 2025 in Gemini, December the 4th or 5th, depending on where you are in the world. This full moon is going to be a significant turning point for many of us, especially those who have had monumental years of big transformation, shifting, releasing. I know for many of us, we have been going through it for quite some time, but the last year has been monumental for that very reason, especially being in a universal year 9, slowly tapering down into a year 1, where we're also going to be met with the year of the horse in Chinese astrology, which I'll touch on as well as a sneak peek of what to expect as we move into the new year. But this full moon is very pivotal. It's very monumental on its own. It is very important to work with, especially to prepare yourself for who you are becoming as you move into your own personal new year. So make sure to know what your personal year number is, as it's going to give you some insight as to some of the main themes that you are going to be experiencing within yourself and within your life. The full moon in Gemini, well, Gemini opposes Sagittarius as we are in Sagittarius season. We are going to have the new moon in the later portion of December following this full moon. So you can look at this full moon as a bit of a climactic point or a conclusion from the new moon intentions that you set during the new moon in Scorpio that we had in the later portion of November. This full moon is very significant, and I'm only going to be leaving you with one particular reflection point, which is going to be very, I feel again, significant, very important to reflect on and to assess, and also to use as your guiding light in a way, moving you forward into the new year. As we are in Sagittarius season, this is the ascent to the higher octave of our soul's journey, but we're met with this full moon. We're met with the full moon in Gemini, which is going to squeeze us, push us, challenge us to be really clear about our true, authentic self. And I mean that in the most honest, pure, genuine, mystical, magical, dimensional sense of self. And the reason why I want to spend time with this one particular topic is that through my own work and working with others and understanding our human evolution, where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going, this one aspect is crucial for our evolution. I've talked about it a lot already in many videos leading up to this about how we can over rationalize, over intellectualize, feed on that 5 to 10% of our mind and suppressing the rest, suppressing our essence, suppressing our truth, suppressing our spirituality, our spiritual gifts, being different, being unique, being true to who we are. And this is the premise of this work in a way where by peeling back the layers of our shadow, by peeling back the layers of our false beliefs, we become closer and closer with our truth, Sagittarius. And this is the season that we are in. And this is the point of evolution, where we get to be closer with who we truly are, where we get to push through a little bit more into our truth, our authenticity, and the direction that we wish to embark on in our life. And this is going to be that tiny, I feel almost the little push that we need to move us forward after this big, massive year that we've had in this universal 9 energy and year of the snake. Specifically speaking to numerology, the universal year 9 that we've had, I've talked about it a lot. It has given us an opportunity, if we worked with this consciously, to identify our attachments, our patterns, what keeps us stuck, what keeps us limited, what keeps us repeating the same patterns, and what keeps us from seeing more of our true self. It takes quite a lot of work to get there and to peel back these layers, but this last year offered us an ability to do so if we worked with it. And when we work with this, we become more empowered, we become more sovereign in ourself, and we become more in alignment with our true, potent, powerful self. And that is where we're landing at the end of this year. Perfect timing. We are also going into a universal month, number 3. So to round this off, the end of the year, we are met with double dose of 3 if you want to add the 12 of the traditional month into a 3, as well as a universal month number 3. We arrive at the 3 by adding the universal year number of 9. And how we get to the universal year number 9 is adding 2025 together, which equals a 9. We add the 9 to the month, the traditional month number, to the 12, and we get 21. Bringing together the 3 of numerology into this full moon is very complementary. Now, this is where we're going to get very specific with this full moon and how you can work with the full moon to dig a little bit deeper and to open up a new area of yourself that's going to be extremely important. Being in a month 3, and if we want to add in the extra 3 with the 12th month, say we have an extra dose of 3 in this month. 3 is the archetype of communication, joyfulness. It is the child in numerology. It's bubbly, as you can see on one side of the 3 is open. So it's open for expression. It loves to express. It loves to talk. It loves to share. It loves to create. So when we're looking at Sagittarius season, we are in the season of truth. We're in the season of alignment. We are in the season of forward moving momentum. We're in the season of seeking and searching. And the 3 in relation with this full moon, plus the shadow aspects of Gemini, as we look at the shadow aspects during the full moon, is going to allow us for exploration into the misalignment between our true self and how we communicate. So if we are suppressing parts of ourselves, if we are ashamed, I've talked about spiritual shame before. This is the wounded seeker. This is part of the archetypal study in the Shadow Project for the month. And also I should mention we're going to be going into a full moon ritual over at the Shadow Project, which I would love for you to join. The link is going to be in the description area below. But looking at the wounded seeker, the part of ourself that believes in something more. Maybe you have a healing ability that you want to offer the world. Maybe you want to express differently. Maybe you want to learn from the stars. Maybe you want to speak a different language of life and philosophy and wisdom, but there's a part of you that feels ashamed. Or maybe there's a part of you that feels simply uncomfortable expressing it. Or maybe there's a part of you that seizes up and holds back when you do so. Or maybe there's a part of you that feels a lack of fluidity and a lack of flow when you are aligning with your truth, what you believe in, your true beliefs. Or perhaps in our modern society, since we are taught that intellectualizing is more important than anything else, you may tend to run to the books first or feel that you don't have enough certificates or education behind you to back up who you are and what you believe in. You gain wisdom through life. You gain wisdom by understanding who you are and honoring that. And I'm not dismissing the intellectual aspect of ourself. The lower mind, which is not less than, is equally as important. But in our society, we opt for the over-intellectualizing, being book smart, feeling that we need a ton of certifications and qualifications and behind us in order to support what we believe in, who we are, and what we are sharing, and the wisdom that we have within ourselves. So when we are in this system that is so imbalanced and we've molded ourselves and adapted to a structure that isn't in alignment with our true, authentic, pure self, we become fragmented and lost within ourselves. It becomes very difficult to communicate. It becomes very difficult to feel confident with who we are. We feel fragmented, we judge ourselves, we criticize ourselves, we feel that we need to know more in order, or have more certificates and degrees and etc. in order to be someone and fit into society. So I want to position it this way. Where do your thoughts, your behaviors, even your communication mismatch with who you are inside? What you want to offer the world? Maybe, again, you're a healer. Maybe you're a seeker. Maybe you think differently. Maybe you want to express differently. How is there a mismatch between these aspects of yourself? The aspect of communicating, the aspect of sharing, the aspect of engagement versus what's happening inside. This full moon highlights the tension between detail and meaning, fact and belief, and micro and macro. Exercise these tensions and the dualities within as we are in the season of duality, and observe the tension within yourself. Of course, the full moons offer time for release, and this release is going to be extremely valuable as you move into a new year under a universal year number 1. And 1 is all about the self. The 1 helps us dig into the aspects of leadership, of being a pioneer, of thinking outside the box, of creating something new, of being open to new opportunities. Pair it with your personal year number, and you are going to have the combination of the theme of the year for you. But again, this full moon is going to allow us to connect more with our true self by understanding the blocks that get in the way, by understanding the resistance that creates the incongruence between our true self and the way we communicate, the way we express, and the way that we engage with the world, even the way that we interpret information, maybe putting too much pressure again on the mind, on having answers, on details of knowledge versus wisdom, expansion, breaking through the barriers and paradigms of any kind of restrictions and limitations that we have been part of before. And if you're looking for deeper guidance to understand maybe some of the false beliefs that are in the shadow that are sometimes difficult to see, I suggest watching 2 videos that I've already uploaded, one on the over-intellectualized self, and then also on the awareness avoidance pattern. Both of those videos are going to be linked in the description area below. If you click below this video, there will be links that can take you to those videos as well. I do recommend watching them as it does explain a little bit about what I've just discussed. Also, we are going to be now going into the general reading for the full moon and also for all 13 zodiac signs. Ophiuchus is going to be in the mix now, and anybody can look at Ophiuchus as part of your inner healer, your healer archetype. But if you also fall into the date range of Ophiuchus, you can claim that as your main reading if you like. So anyone with Sagittarius in their predominant chart will get a bit of a bonus, but you can all look at Ophiuchus readings for yourself if you want to claim it for part of what you need to hear at this time. And also, if you want to go deeper with the full moon with guided practice for deeper insights, exploration, and transformation, do join me over at the Shadow Project. There is going to be a full moon ritual uploaded just before the full moon in Gemini. And I'm wishing you all the best during this full moon in Gemini. Make it count. Here we go, looking into the full moon in Gemini. I pre-shuffled, I did a clearing, and this is a very, very aligned reading. As you can even see, these cards from Seven Energies Oracle, 2832, broken open, quieting the mind. You can see the posture or the symbology, the photo of the people. Well, one person here in lotus position, right? And this is the challenge. This is coming in through the shadow. So I look at the full moons is all about shadow work, looking at what we can't see. It's very difficult to see our shadow. It's very difficult to see what we're used to, what's living in our shadow, what's hiding within us, right? And that's the main reason for what I tend to gravitate towards for these videos during the full moons. In this case, I'm looking at the shadow, which I don't know if you saw the card underneath, which I want to keep it as a bit of a surprise, but it's not going to be a surprise when you see what the cards are beneath the moonology cards, I mean. But for this, we have in the shadow broken open, and this is the guidance. Now, in the shadow, in the unseen aspect of self, there's a time needed right now, and especially coming out after retrograde season, the new moon in Scorpio season, even at the end of 2025, a year 9, which was monumental, the broken open is in the shadow. And what this represents is becoming more of ourself and learning who we truly are and the gifts that we have been given through the moments that break us open. And there could be big tectonic shifts, or there can be little micro shifts within ourselves. All of them lead to a greater relationship with ourself. All of them lead to our ability to awaken more of ourself, to see more of ourself, to feel more of ourself, and to understand the deeper context of the challenges that we are faced with, rather than being affected by it, becoming enlightened through it. And then this is the guidance, quieting the mind at this time during the full moon. Quiet the mind. Now, in the video that I created about the full moon, it was all about being aware of the mind. Where does your mind override your spirit, Sagittarius? Where does your mind override your truth? The false beliefs that we tend to live by, the over intellectualizing, running on our mind constantly, overriding our heart, overriding our truth, overriding our true beliefs, the essence of self. So these are perfect cards for now, or for this full moon. The quieting the mind is the guidance. And so turning the mind off, being very aware of the Gemini shadow of emotional detachment, of the mind versus the heart, of over intellectualizing, being too much tilted into maybe the academic, the constructs of our old paradigm, the over mental functioning. That didn't make sense at all. The hyper intellectualized mental functioning. I think that sounded better. Even in some ways, I've even caught individuals becoming very wordy to hide the insecurities that they have within, almost talking over their fears, if that makes sense. So there are many different ways to look at it, but it's quieting the mind to tune in, to connect with your truth. It keeps going from there. Let's get into the moonology cards, because this reading is all about this full moon and where we are at. So we have here the full moon coming in with emotions are running high with the Page of Pentacles. You know, the Page of Pentacles is all about rebuilding that foundation, or building the foundation, investing into the growth that's needed in order to create in the practical realm. Emotions are running high, so there could be intensities, of course, a full moon. There could naturally be a little bit more heightened energy, so just be aware of it. Now, the Page of Pentacles, though, is very grounding, and it gives us an opportunity to build our future, build the foundation of what we're wanting to grow. So think about where you're going in 2026, what you're growing, what you're building, what you've already even maybe have gone through already, that will lead to further growth and advancement in what you're creating, who you're becoming, of course, because it's all connected, right? Now we have in the shadow, look at this. The shadow is the full moon in Scorpio. The guidance is the new moon in Scorpio. I know, can't make this up. It's amazing. The shadow, full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. Now, negativity can arise in many different ways. You can think of fear is listed here, but you can think of any kind of fear that creates negative thoughts or reactions, or even fear-based thoughts and reactions, right? It doesn't have to be negative. It could be, but it says the negativity is in the shadow. So any kind of dark thoughts, any kind of resistance, self-talk, being too much, again, be very careful of what's in the mind, and create an opening within your heart, within the truth of who you are. And in the shadow, this very well could be awakened. And this could be a continuation of maybe a thread in an experience from Scorpio season, or from the new moon in Scorpio, maybe a common theme that has been playing out throughout 2025, maybe a common fear or negative sensations, feelings, limitations, something that is creating a polarization or a fracturing or a conflict within self. So this is in the shadow, and this is going to come up or it's going to be an invitation for you to look at it, to see, to search. What is it that has been maybe the theme of 2025 that's getting in the way? What is the negativity? And also in the shadow is justice, Libra. The scales, something that is out of balance needs to be brought into balance. And this is the duality, the dualistic nature of Gemini and Sagittarius, these two polarizations, as I listed before, maybe the macro versus the micro, the facts versus insight. So it's even, I would say, you can even think of knowledge versus wisdom, truth versus fiction in a way, but in a way where it's your inner truth versus your false beliefs. So you can do true beliefs versus false beliefs. And these are the imbalances that we have within ourselves that can continually run the show in the background without us even realizing, until we shine light on it. And the light is coming through this new moon in Scorpio of work through your fears. So the guidance here is saying to work through your fears, the imbalances. Sometimes we don't want to see the reality, awareness avoidance. Sometimes we are self-sacrificing. Sometimes we hold ourselves back. Libra, justice, it could go in many different ways, but work through your fears is your guidance with the new moon in Scorpio and the Page of Swords. And the sword is, in the traditional justice, the sword of truth. So you can look at this as, where do you need to be true with yourself and seek and search for the answers within, so that you can gain the illumination you need to work through your fears and line you up for the new year. This is totally on point. So the opportunity of this is take time to breathe out, relax. You have a green light. The Chariot with the horses, dualities, that is the mark of this card. It is Cancer, but it is the duality, the black, the white, bringing the dualities into one to move forward in sync, in harmony, and in balance. This is the opportunity that this full moon can offer you if you work with it. Now I'll show you what else is going on here. We have a powerful move at the bottom of the deck with the Seven Energies Oracle. This represents the number one moving into numerology. Even though this is a number 15, I'm not looking at that. I am only looking in what I can see for myself anyway. You can take it as you see, but it's the power of self. It's checkmate. It is actually, is that the king or the queen? I think it might be the queen. I haven't played chess in a while, but I think that's the queen. It doesn't matter, regardless, in all honesty. It's really about the self. It's the one. It's making the move. It's a powerful move based on your inner truth, the essence of self. And this is leading us into the universal year one, right? And the one is straight. It's straight. It is related with the sun. It is our power. It is our vibrancy. It is our leader, our inner leader, our inner authority. We also have at the bottom of the deck, the energy is gaining momentum. So it's all leading up. The Chariot, as I mentioned, the opportunity, energy is gaining momentum. And then with the Animal Oracle, these cards flew out. I didn't even finish shuffling. These three fell out. We have Skunk Spirit, know your worth. Know your worth, your true self, 54, which equals a 9. We also have the Squirrel Spirit, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your true, authentic power. Reclaim your power, number 44. That was a 57. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Reclaim your power, number 44, power number. Wow, this reading is so on point. It's so on point. I love it. I knew that was going to happen. So we're going to go into the all signs reading afterwards, or right next, actually, I should say. And I will see you there. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to jump into this. We're looking at Gemini first. And you get the new moon in Scorpio. So I hope you watched the general read for the full moon, because this did come up as the guidance for the full moon in Gemini. So there's a call here for Gemini to work through your fear. Again, I can't stress this enough with this full moon. This is not to sound dramatic or anything, but this is going to be very important, this full moon, as the final full moon of the year, very pivotal point to address our patterns, to address what is holding us back, to address these shadowy, unseen, difficult aspects of ourselves that are getting in our way. So this is going to offer you a new opening, because you do have, or maybe you could also be experiencing resistance or old fears because of something new that you might want, or that you're creating, or that you're stepping into. So it's an invitation to work through your fears, to step through. Okay, and you also have the 9 and 10 of Wands. Yeah, coming to a close in a way, but it's a big squeeze. You might be feeling the tension of something, like you've been carrying a lot of burdens and a lot of maybe responsibilities and weight. And it is coming to an end, but it's going to be, again, I would suggest for you Gemini out there to work with this full moon and be very honest and true about the patterns and the beliefs associated with the weight that you place on yourself. And this weight is leading to exhaustion, is leading to feeling stuck, maybe trapped, maybe in perpetual cycles. Maybe you're carrying too much burden. That could be from a pattern, a belief, etc. It is saying, though, to, well, this is in the shadow, the 9, and the 10, sorry, no, how did I pull this? This was this way. Okay, so this is in the shadow. This is the guidance. The first one is the shadow, in the unseen. This is the guidance. The guidance is to keep going. Okay, the guidance is to keep going. But in the unseen is the unnecessary weight and burdens that you might be placing on yourself. You might be being really hard on yourself. You might be maybe even taking on too many responsibilities. So just be aware of that. It's all energetic, and we are in the element of fire right now, which is fire. And the more weight that we place on ourselves, and it could be the weight that we place on ourselves or the weight that we're harboring, is creating extra dense weightedness. I don't know how else to explain that. I hope that made sense. But it's almost as if you're carrying unnecessary, extra, additional fear or pressure. You might be putting pressure on yourself to perform, to show up a certain way, to something. I'll leave it there. Okay, we're looking at Cancer. Cancer, the end of a tough cycle approaches. You have in the shadow the 3 of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is your guidance. In the shadow, now this could be anything from, there could be triggers from people you work with. Now, I feel it is a mirroring. I feel there is, look at all this earth energy, Capricorn, 3 of Pentacles. I feel that there is sort of similar to what the energy that was coming through with Gemini's reading, although it's a different element altogether, different reading altogether, but it's the weightedness. Like there's a weight to this, like a heaviness, and maybe even feeling displaced or feeling as if you're not fitting in or having difficulties with people in your workspace. And if you're not working, it could be with family, it could be someone you're working with. There's an imbalance or something of that nature. And it's the end of a tough cycle is approaching. So there's going to be a shift after this full moon, and the guidance is to keep going. It's to the slow and steady, not to react, not to make any decisions out of haste or out of reaction. It's to stay in that steady zone, to continually move on without disrupting anything. Try not to push, try not to ask for anything else, like anything additional, or push too hard, or kind of rock the boat or anything like that. And it's not about people pleasing. It's about just staying steady towards your goals and towards the job or the role that you're working in. So the Three of Pentacles could be co-workers, people around you, relationships even, but mostly will be in the workplace, people you're working with. And I feel it's being triggered. I feel there are some triggers and lessons that are coming through these dynamics. Leo, in the shadow. Okay, this is really nice for Leo. You have a Tower in the shadow. Justice is your guidance, Libra. And then prosperity lies ahead, Taurus. Okay, so there's a new opportunity here. It's either going to happen around the full moon or after, it already has, but it's within range and it's leading you to success. And this is real. This is a real deal, long-term success story. What's in the shadow is the Tower. There is a big change that either has to happen that you aren't seeing. Maybe it's happening. Maybe the Tower is happening outside of your range of sight. Maybe it's something in the background. Something's falling apart for a new to be rebuilt. Taurus, something with your career. This also can be, because it's in the shadow, it can be within yourself, a part of yourself that you're not letting burn to the ground. There might be part of you resisting letting go or resisting change. And what happens in this case is the more we resist, the worse the impact is going to be when it really falls apart. So this Tower here in the shadow is basically a reverse in a way, is the universe knocking at the door, at your door. And it's saying, hey, Leo, how bad do you want this? And what do you need to get real about and dismantle within yourself or around you in order to line you up with prosperity and with a stable future? Taurus is all about stability. So there's something within yourself or around you that needs to change and drastically change in order for this to line up. And your guidance is justice, Libra. Energy here with justice coming through as the scale. Something is out of balance right now that needs to be put into balance. And also maybe setting something straight, like clearing karma in a way too. Maybe being clear, detail-oriented, looking at contracts, not trying to, don't be lazy here. This guy can be a little lazy sometimes, Taurus, but and lazy, I mean, as in smelling the roses stuff. This is about making sure that you have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, everything is being covered. It could be also referring to maintaining balance, restoring balance. Justice could be contracts, something to do with contracts as well. Virgo, shadow, the Lovers, guidance is death, Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. Okay, so you have some luck coming through here. We are in Sagittarius season. You may be feeling more clear about your direction. You may have a lucky break show up around this time or during Sagittarius season. You do have in the shadow Lovers and death. Okay, so basically when I look at the shadows, basically in the reverse, the Lovers in the shadow right now could be in the unseen aspect of yourself. There could be dualities that you're facing as well, to do with your beliefs. Very applicable to the season that we're in and to the polarization between Gemini and Sagittarius. What is ruling your choices or your reality through the lens of false beliefs versus true beliefs and your truth, your true beliefs, right? And what are the false beliefs? I really feel it's going to go back to what I referred to in the beginning of the video. Death is the guidance. So death needs to come in. So kind of similar to Leo with the Tower. Death needs to purify. Something needs to be purified and cleaned, and the cycle needs to run out. There's something that needs to die off. And it's very important for you to line up with your destiny, with your future, and with your truth, with your inner purest aspect of self. And right now, or where you have been, is the Lovers in the shadow, representing the dualities between false beliefs and true beliefs. And maybe even relationship, something to do maybe with relationship for some of you. Maybe repeats of unhealthy relationships, relationship conflicts, maybe even romantic relationships that keep resembling the same relationships that we get caught in those repeats until we learn our lesson, until we let a cycle die or get real about what we believe in, what is true for us, and our values. So there could be something there as well for you, Virgo. Libra, you get the full moon in Scorpio. Your shadow is the Seven of Cups. Be very cautious of daydreaming. I think we have, isn't Neptune going direct in, I think it is in December sometime. I believe it is. Be very cautious about rose-colored glasses, about taking on too much, about daydreaming, fantasizing, saying yes to everything. Be very, very, very careful. This is abandoning self. This is delusion. This is escapism. And there could be some of that showing up during the full moon. It could be a test. It could be some, just be aware. That's all I'll say. Your guidance is the Four of Swords. So during the full moon, take a little bit of a time out, maybe get some extra rest the mind, and a time to release negativity. Yeah, it could be that, releasing negativity. I would suggest definitely watching the full moon overview read, because this card came up as well. But for you guys, I honestly feel it's something about laying back and relaxing during the full moon. I feel that you've put a lot of effort into something already, and there might be confusion. This could be old, also patterns or old emotional responses to taking rest. And even if you're in a lull of some kind, the mind or the emotions might become activated. When we rest, sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Sometimes it's difficult to turn things off. So I feel that it's sort of saying, I feel you've already done something. You definitely work on releasing some fears, negativity. You can do a really nice ritual during the full moon to release maybe things that came up during Scorpio season. But don't be afraid of relaxing right now, even if it feels uncomfortable. Definitely watch out for not agreeing to too much and not taking on more than you can take. Scorpio. Very nice. Believe in the impossible. Beautiful. You have the Queen of Fire, Leo, in the shadow. You have the Five of Swords as your guidance. Believe in the impossible. Well, this is really nice. Believe in the impossible is just that. Once in a blue moon, it could be a very auspicious opportunity that shows up for you. You might be feeling a little touch of magic. You might be feeling that things are working out in your favor. There may be deception though, so just be careful. Rose-colored glass is coming through here, being overly optimistic, not paying attention to reality. So just be aware. There could be superficiality with this as well. There could be a little bit of ego puffiness, puffing up the chest, like peacock style a little bit. So just be careful with this one because it's in the shadow, the Queen of Fire. And then the Five of Swords it could be one of two things. Be very cautious of conflict with this one, but also it could be one of two things. One is be aware of conflict. This is your guidance, or maybe something needs to be confronted in order to cut something loose. It could be within self, it could be within another person, but it's going to help clear the way for something very auspicious and very aligned. It's going to set you up for your new year. Ophiuchus. You're very close to achieving your goal. Two of Cups as your guidance, 10 of Cups in the shadow. In the shadow is an imbalance. Oh, this is mirroring. It's mirroring. You have two people here, but this is the 10 of Cups though. The 10 of Cups in the shadow is representing an imbalance in family relationships. It could be love. It could be interpersonal relationships. Your guidance is to bring a relationship closer together. Now, it's going to be a very specific relationship. It's speaking to one relationship, you and another. The relationship can be any kind. It can be, if we're talking about healing, it could be a healing relationship. Maybe you can heal through conflict. with another person. Now, either you're going to heal the relationship of the two of you, or you're going to heal because of another person in some kind of way. Maybe there's also an opportunity to be healers, as this is about the wounded healer. The Ten of Cups is in the shadow. I think of where you've been. I feel that's where it is, and this is where you can go. But it is going to require you to become close with someone new. It doesn't have to be new, actually. It doesn't. It's going to be very, I feel, obvious for you. It could be also the relationship within yourself, but you're very close to achieving your goal. And this is going to help you get there, whatever this is. This could be the relationship within yourself. It could be the duality within yourself. But I do feel for majority of you, it's going to be a person. And it's going to bring balance into what has been imbalanced in the emotional landscape, especially to do with family, deep stuff, actually, for some of you out there. Sagittarius, a win-win outcome in forecast. You have Libra coming through here. In the shadow is the Chariot. Your guidance is the the Eight of Pentacles. A win-win outcome in forecast. So you have one door closing of the past starting to conclude, while another door starting to open. So the scales are trying to find their balance. You haven't had the green light yet. So there may be a bit of push and pull. You may be, even in some ways, this could be internally where you're holding yourself back, but you want to move forward. You may feel out of balance, out of sorts. You could be grappling with your own dual. Oh, by the way, happy birthday. Sorry, I want to say that now before I forget. So happy birthday to all the Sagittariuses out there. You know I love you all. But this one is that dualistic nature that you have within your archetype. You know, there could be a push and pull. There could be distractions. There could be avoidance. There could be anything of that nature. You could just feel very restless inside as well. Your guidance is I don't want to say perfection. That was the wrong word. But, you know, maybe that is. I don't know. Maybe for some of you, it's mastery. It's mastering your craft. It's being diligent. It's being disciplined. Just working step by step, and going through the process of mastery or getting things done. You know, it could also be that. It could be learning, it could be studying, but that's going to help you bring something into balance. Okay, so we have, where are we at? Capricorn. Capricorn, you have in the shadow the Six of Fire, in your guidance the Page of Cups, and Surrender to the Divine is your Moonology card. The challenge is maybe for some of you, you've been waiting for a victory. You've been waiting for some kind of achievement, some kind of benchmark, and it's not quite here yet. Maybe for some of you, you're holding yourself back. Maybe there is self-sabotage. Maybe that you're dimming your light and your potential in some kind of way. There could be a little bit of a delay if you're waiting, if that's resonating with you. The Page of Cups, Pisces, this is your guidance. It's time for you right now to connect with your heart. I feel connect with the more sensitive, softer side of yourself. It could be expressed from the heart, maybe an apology, maybe connecting with your emotional side. There also could be maybe making amends with someone, healing. There's a nice healing energy here. And surrender to the divine is letting go. You know, if you've been putting pressure on yourself for a result, for some kind of victory, for some kind of, maybe for some of you, public recognition, this is now the time to surrender. Let the universe step in and follow your heart. Listen to your heart, the softer side of self. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, nice. It's time to take action in the shadow. Six of Swords, Nine of Cups is your guidance. So time to take action. You have a new opportunity on the horizon, or you might even be leaning into the energy of 2026 already, where you feel like, all right, now it's go time. Now I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to take action. Maybe you have a new opportunity. Maybe you have a new idea. You could be feeling fiery. It's a green light, you know, so it is Aries. All of a sudden, you know, like new beginnings, new opportunities. You could be feeling again more empowered within yourself. The shadow, the Six of Swords, it's very important to let go of a story or attachment or a person or a something of the past. It's difficult for you to let go. You're holding on to something of the past. You're not allowing yourself to move on. You're not allowing yourself to find clear waters. There are two people in the boat, so maybe there is to do with a relationship. But this is in the shadow, and there's an attachment. I feel it's a mental attachment, air, which you are. And it's something that maybe has caused turbulence in the past. It could be a repeating pattern. It could be a person. It could be within self. But your guidance is to explore aspects or experiences of gratitude, satisfaction, accomplishment, peace. You can see this person is very grateful, very happy, very satisfied. There's a lot of contentment here. So it's something about letting go of the mind or letting go of an attachment so that you can find contentment. And that contentment is going to really benefit this time to take action. It's almost like a restless spirit is being settled down, is being tamed a little bit. Pisces, what do you need to release? 10 of Swords in the shadow, King of Pentacles is your guidance. Okay, during the full moon, what do you need to release? It is a time of releasing for Pisces, for all of us, but for you in particular, what do you need to release? Be very, very clear, because this is in the shadow, the 10 of Swords. Something, old patterns, fears, what you've been holding on to, maybe avoiding, has to be released. And this is a very important full moon, especially for this work. Your guidance is the King of Pentacles. Virgo, the guidance here is for you to embody the confidence that is going to help drive your success story in some kind of way. Pretend that you're already here. Embody the King of Pentacles. He is very confident, very self-assured, very grounded. He doesn't waver. So the contrast of this needs to be released. The fear, I'll let you decide, or you'll know what this is, but it's going to be the opposite of this. So there are mental patterns, there are thoughts, there are fears, there are worries, there are triggers. What do you need to release to embody this? The King of Pentacles. Aries, hold your vision. The Page of Pentacles is in the shadow. The King of Cups is your guidance, Pisces. Hold your vision for Aries. Okay, I'm just going to move these over 1 second. Hold your vision. Stay in alignment with your goals, with anything that's starting to show up for you. I feel, crucial at this time. This is going to be your guiding light into the new year. It's going to be your pathway, right? That's going to lead you into the new year, into the year one. So hold your vision. Even if you feel swayed or you feel a little unsure or uneasy, stay on course for where you're going and what you want to create. The Page of Pentacles. If there is self-doubt, imposter syndrome, worrying about finances, worrying about the physical, monetary aspect of life, your guidance is going to actually be the contrast in a way, or it's going to feel like a contrast. It's going to feel different. There's part of you that might want to be building your finances, focusing on finances, but there also could be part of you that actually has maybe some fear or insecurity or worry or doubt. Maybe you've gone through a bit of financial instability in the past, recent past, I should say. But the King of Water is your guide. Is your guidance, I should say. And the King of Water is the embodiment of emotional maturity and your ability to work really well with others. And then this is going to fall into alignment. So try not to approach your situation by money first or stability, security first. It's the embodiment of emotional intelligence and emotional maturity that needs to guide you right now, or be part of you right now. And maybe it's a part of how you work with others that's going to lead to this, or that's going to balance this out. But right now it's something around holding the space for others, being emotionally attuned, being mature, being guiding others, helping others, leading in some form. Okay, now finally at the end, we are at Taurus. You had two cards come out. Don't let your past hold you back, and a time to give rather than take. This is very nice. Don't let your past hold you back. South Node. Oh, that's funny. We have the South Node in Virgo right now. That's really funny that these two cards came out. You might even want to go back to Virgo season, to the solar eclipse that we had in September. We had 2 new moons in Virgo. You can look back even then at what could have changed within your path. That's also changing you so that you can, it's like a snake shedding skin in this year of a snake. It's something like that. It's like letting go. So make sure that you're letting go. I just have to say, don't let your past hold you back. Make sure, Taurus, fixed sign, very difficult sometimes to let things go. Make sure you're letting go of what no longer serves. And even within yourself, what needs to be shed, like a snake shedding skin. A time to give rather than take. Now, this is about giving without expectations, but not so that you're self-sacrificing, but so that you're giving, you're helping, you're being part of maybe healing, helping, serving in some kind of way so that you can show up fully. Don't let your past hold you back. There's something still lingering from your past. It could have been very evident in maybe September, maybe August. That's taking shape now. But your past, now this could be fears, this could be worry, this could be self-sabotage, it could be anything. But be very aware of this during the full moon and release so that you can show up more, so that you can give more. You're not draining yourself. You're not questioning yourself, worrying. Now in the shadow is the Empress. This is your card. Knight of Cups, Cancer is your guidance. In the shadows, the Empress. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that if you are of service and helping others, make sure that you're doing it in a way where you're showing up fully and you're not overdoing it. So it's like less is more in this case, not more is more. The more is more is a shadow aspect of Taurus, and also in our modern society as well. It could be Capricorn too, but the Empress in this case is in the shadow, and it's basically when we are not acknowledging what we need to nurture within ourselves so that we can heal, so that we can show up fully, so that we can be in balance, and that's so that we can manifest from the divine feminine aspect of self, right? So this is becoming imbalanced. Maybe there's overworking, maybe there's indulging, maybe there's putting pressure on self, maybe you're taking on too much. So just be aware what patterns are still with you, that it's time to let them go. And think about the new year of where you're going, because that's going to be very important of how do you want to experience your life in the new year ahead? Who do you want to be as your future self? And how can you invest in your future self today? And the Knight of Cups is your guidance, Cancer. This is leading with your heart, being vulnerable, being open, being romantic, maybe healing too. There could be part of that, maybe creating from the emotional self, maybe creating from a place of healing, creating from a place of expression, a vulnerable expression, being able to bring people together, I feel, in some kind of way too. That could be with the Knight of Cups, even relationships, family, love, etc. All right, that is it. That is all. I'm wishing you a beautiful full moon ahead. Until next time, take care.